My name is Brian Scribonia, and on this episode of the Common Sense Financial Podcast. The truth is, the real wealth is not found in things, but in the freedom to live your life free from having to work for a paycheck or trade your time for money. And the same thing I want for my children is the same thing I want for my clients, and the reason why I love my work.
Well, hey, everybody, and thank you for listening and joining us today. We hope that this podcast can provide you with some insights to help you grow and get closer to your goals this year. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. That way you'll be notified about new content and you'll be able to listen to Brian tackle a variety of different topics. So you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere that podcasts can be found. And all the links to subscribe, as well as past episodes, are available on the website at brianscribonia.com. So thanks again for tuning in, and let's get started.
Opportunities are still there.
The attempt at passing down wealth from generation to generation.
Consider the outcome, not just popular opinion.
And the whole teaching there is about preparedness and being ready.
There's a difference between what's real and what's true.
You're listening to the Common Sense Financial Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Scribonia. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get into today's topic. Hello, I'm Brian Scribonia, host of the Common Sense Financial Podcast. For years, I've been passionate about educating my audience by writing books, producing this podcast, writing blogs, and speaking on topics related to wealth creation, preservation, and utilization. It was over 30 years ago when I got started in business and have spent this time building my knowledge while building teams and companies. But my motivation has always been to not simply grow businesses, but to impact lives by sharing the information and experiences I have gathered over the years working with thousands of people. It's my opinion that there's no reason why anyone has to figure any of this out on their own. If you listen to my show or read anything I have published, you know the content I share is like a tell-all story. But I've recently realized after all these years that I've produced a lot of content and have spent very little time sharing my story. We all have a story to tell, and as this community grows, I wanted to make sure we connect because technology can keep us isolated, and what is more important than any of this financial stuff is having meaningful relationships. So here's my story. Growing up, my family was a typical middle-class, blue-collar family living in St. Louis. My dad came over from Croatia and worked as a lab engineer at a heating and cooling manufacturing company who also ran a business on the side in the evenings and on the weekends. He was always working, and I admired his work ethic and his ability to figure most anything out. And as a teen, I dreamed of having upscale things, cars and homes and those types of things, but I really didn't have any example to follow about how any of this got done. While my dad worked hard, he always traded time for money. And the challenge is that he always had to rely on his ability to work to create the cash flow to do the things he wanted to do. So as a young man in my 20s, I mistakenly chased material things, and I found myself quickly having to work harder to keep up with my lifestyle. I learned the hard way that the status quo for achieving wealth was broken. So after doing it wrong for years, I had this epiphany. I realized I needed to create assets that are income producing that would pay for my lifestyle. So I set out to create a passive income stream that would cash flow my lifestyle, and I accomplished it. And that's when my focus for what I'm really trying to do for my clients came into clarity. I began producing content back in 2010, and out of that came 3 books: Common Sense, Generational Planning, and Retirement Planning, which can all be found on Amazon. This led to the beginning of the Common Sense Financial Podcast, which has since been recognized by Forbes as a top 10 podcast by financial advisors. And I'm now also a regular contributor for Kiplinger Magazine. Locally here in St. Louis, I have been featured on KMOX with Mark Reardon and 97.1 with Dana Lash. In 2018, I received the Future 50 Company Award, and in 2021 received Best in Business by St. Louis Small Business Monthly, which was a publication which also named me among the best wealth managers in St. Louis in 2017, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. It was later in my career that I went on to complete coursework and obtain the Chartered Financial Consultant and Certified Private Wealth Advisor designations. Now, today, after 30 years in business, helping clients create the passive income they need to create real financial freedom, I regularly hear clients say that our process has really opened their eyes about how money works and how to think about wealth. And I have been told that they would not be where they're at without our help. Now, in my personal life, I've been married to my awesome wife, Carrie, for 30 years. We have 3 children that make us very, very proud. Our son is married with 3 children. Our oldest daughter is married with 2 children. And our youngest daughter is finishing up her college to become a registered nurse. Now, throughout their lives, my wife and I have taught our children 2 main things. Most importantly, for us to pursue a close personal relationship with Jesus Christ and to live out their faith in their daily walk. Second is that to understand that a worthy pursuit in life is for the things money can't buy, building relationships, investing in others, creating memories and experiences with people that you love. What took me a long time to figure out is that the pursuit of things never brings satisfaction. So we wanted to help our kids understand that rather than focusing on acquiring things, for them to use their money to build income-producing assets that can buy the toys and fun dreams. The truth is, the real wealth is not found in things, but in the freedom to live your life free from having to work for a paycheck or trade your time for money. And the same thing I want for my children is the same thing I want for my clients and the reason why I love my work. At this stage of my life, my focus is on helping as many people as I can build wealth and experience true financial freedom. So that's my story. If you want to learn more about wealth creation and how we work with clients, you can visit any of our websites, brianscribonia.com, scriboniafinancial.com, scriboniawealth.com, and buildbanking.com. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for being a part of this community. It means a lot. Thanks for listening to today's show. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and Spotify so that you can receive notifications when we release new episodes. I'm Brian Scribonia, and this is the Common Sense Financial Podcast.
Well, thank you for listening to the Forbes Top 10 rated Common Sense Financial Podcast. Before you go, I want to encourage you to jump over to brianscribonia.com to access the full archive of blogs and podcasts. And if you want to be the first in line to get new content, you can sign up for free on the Brian Scribonia website as well. If you're not following Brian on all the social channels, we'd love to have you join in on the conversation. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, he's there. Lastly, if you've enjoyed listening to today's podcast, or if you have found value in any of our content, help spread the word by sharing our videos, podcasts, and posts wherever you get them. We greatly appreciate it and are glad that you took the time to join us today. Securities offered only by duly registered individuals through Madison Avenue Securities, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through Scribonia Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Tax services offered only through Scribonia Tax Consulting. Mass does not offer billed banking or tax advice. Scribonia Financial Group, LLC, Scribonia Wealth Management, LLC, Scribonia Insurance Services, LLC, Scribonia Tax Consulting, and billed banking are not affiliated with Mass. Scribonia Wealth Management, LLC is a registered investment advisor. Advisory services are only offered to clients and prospective clients where Scribonia Wealth Management, LLC and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Billed banking is a DBA of Scribonia Insurance Services, LLC. Benefits and guarantees are based on the claims-paying ability of the insurance company, not FDIC-insured. Results may vary. Any descriptions involving life insurance policies and its use as an alternative form of financing or risk management techniques are provided for illustration purposes only, will not apply in all situations, may not be fully indicative of any present or future investments, and may be changed at the discretion of the insurance carrier, general partner, and/or manager, and are not intended to reflect guarantees on securities performance. The term billed banking, private banking alternatives, or specially designed life insurance contracts are not meant to insinuate that the issuer is creating a real bank for its clients or communicating that life insurance companies are the same as traditional banking institutions. This material is educational in nature and should not be deemed as a solicitation of any specific product or service. Build Banking is offered by Scribonia Insurance Services, LLC only and is not offered by Madison Avenue Securities, LLC. Our firm is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by the third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by our firm. References to Build Banking, private banking alternatives, or specially designed life insurance contracts are not meant to insinuate that the issuer is creating a real bank for its clients or communicating that life insurance companies are the same as traditional banking institutions. This material is informational in nature and should not be deemed as a solicitation of any specific product or service. Build Banking is not FDIC insured. Build Banking is offered by Scribonia Insurance Services, LLC only, and is not offered by Madison Avenue Securities, LLC, nor Scribonia Wealth Management, LLC.